So I just finished watching the Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal on Prime,
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have.
and I have some really strong thoughts. When I watched the trailer for this, I didn't think it was gonna be good, but I had no idea that this movie was going to be this bad. The original movie isn't anything special or extraordinary as well. It's not a titan. It's an enjoyable small town action flick with heart. But this remake is soulless in every single way. This really happens to me while watching any movie or show. But this movie, I'm telling you guys, this movie made me angry. It personally offended me because of how disgustingly disrespectful it is to the original Roadhouse. What's most disrespectful here is the writing of our main protagonist, Dalton. Now, this is in no way Jake Gyllenhaal's fault. He's a really versatile and talented actor, and the fact that they managed to waste a talent like him in such a good role like this just goes to show how terribly the writers and the creators have portrayed Dalton in this movie. He is a shell of what Dalton was in the original movie, and he was written in the original to be chill yet charming. The main point of the character was that he didn't fight. He didn't like to fight. He didn't initiate fights. He didn't look like he could fight, but he could. That's what defined his character. But the way Dalton is shown to us in this remake is not that. He's made to feel like this overly cool MCU hero with garbage one liners and an ego and attitude. His UFC backstory was also completely unnecessary and felt like it was just there to shove it into people's throat that he's not the hero. And it just felt forced. The original just did it so much better. It was emotional and it felt subtle. It related to the characters, especially to the one who was closest to him, Doc. She saw the lengths he'd be willing to go to protect the ones he loves and to deliver justice. And it felt real. It doesn't feel like this here. It feels like they're trying to purposefully portray him like an asshole who hasn't even come to terms with himself, instead of as the flawed yet stand up person he should be. Also, fuck them for not giving us Jake ripping out Connor's throat with Ellie watching in horror. That was like the best fucking part of the original movie. Now that I mentioned Ellie, even the side characters here are in any way interesting or threatening. They are just goofy and feel unserious. It's like the actors didn't even want to film it. They feel bored. Conor McGregor is like the only one having fun here, and even his character is an illogical mess who is given some really corny lines which don't fit here like they did in the original. Extremely inferior to his original counterpart, who was a god. Like, dude, who says this shit? He made it sound cool.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
And we don't see Ellie being a doctor properly here or being the emotional support to Dalton. Jake and Daniela have absolutely no chemistry. Like they have zero fucking chemistry here and they're just thrown together in four random scenes which don't feel authentic or real at all. Ben being a very dumbed down version, not even version, but they made the main antagonist the son of who should have been the main antagonist. It's just really weird because Brad Wesley in the original movie was for sure goofy, but at least he felt like a threat, which Mr. Wannabe here does not. Now, to Frankie was also a decision of all time, and even though I don't have a lot of problem with this change because the actors like she did a pretty okay job, but it still didn't feel as fitting as Frank did in the original. I mean, just none of the characters or pieces fit here. They're just dumbed down versions of their original counterparts, and it's just soulless remaking in every single way. And removing Wade's character was just such a massive L. He was like one of the only few characters Dalton had a good dynamic with, and he felt like the support and brother Dalton needed every time. But I guess you just don't need someone to watch his back when your fucking antagonists are a bunch of goofy ass freaks that don't even feel threatening or commanding. That don't even feel threatening or commanding. The action scenes are also just too overdone in my opinion, and it's just pointless fighting since there is no emotion or reason driving these scenes, and there's just no conflict between these characters. In conclusion, this Roadhouse remake is ass. I don't even want to speak more about this. I don't want to yap more than what I already have. It's just dog shit. It's soulless and it's a mockery of the original film. The original film was never anything top of the line. It was just an enjoyable, cheesy action flick with Patrick Swayze's charming Dalton. It was a guilty pleasure. Yes, it was a guilty pleasure. But there is nothing pleasurable about this remake. In other news, The Crow is also getting a remake.